Hello, in this video we're going to look at Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, and this is more of our hands-on portion of the course. And so what you see here is the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. This is how you're going to interface with SQL servers. SQL Server itself is a service. You don't have, it just runs in the back end. So this is a tool to like I said, to interface with it. When you first open Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, you will get a dialog box to log in. Now, if you follow the steps on installing the software, you should use Windows authentication. And since we're not too concerned about security, we're not actually live and out there on the internet, this will be the simplest way to interface. Okay, now you see to the left we have a pane that's called Object Explorer and a tree-like structure. This is the name of the server I'm logged into, and all of the databases will be in the database folder. So these are the database I have installed on my computer. What I want to show you is a little bit about installing the software or installing the databases that are provided for you in our Unit 6 module. This document is step-by-step directions on installing SQL Server. You should install it, you should download it through Microsoft Imagine. And if you don't have a Microsoft Imagine account, please email me and let me know, and I'll get that set up for you. And what you see below here, and I will be adding the labs, but what you see here, some of the databases that you may work with. So AdventureWorks is a database provided by Microsoft to help you to learn all of the different objects that are available. It's a pretty complex database. So it is now on GitHub. So if you are curious, you can get the AdventureWorks database. Microsoft databases come with this MDF extension, SQL Server I should say, databases. And you will notice that there is a corresponding LDF file, which is a log file. Now the purpose of a log file is it updates as transactions are occurring so that if the server crashes, all of those updates and transactions can be restored from the log file. Finally, these are some files from the Murik text that get you to set up the databases needed to work through the examples. And they are pure text file. They have an SQL extension. Like HTML, they're just pure text files. If you have a database file, an MDF file, one way to get it onto the server is in Object Explorer, right mouse click on database folder and click on attach, and that'll attach the file to the server. So here's the dialog box. I'm going to click on add. And I'm going to add general hardware, and notice it automatically found the LDF file. Now if you do not have an LDF file and it looks like it's still trying to locate the LDF file, you can select that and remove the log file if you're having a problem attaching a database that does not have a log file with it. That's okay, it does not have to have a log file. Okay, click on OK, and that file is actually called Chapter 7, and there it is. The database is called Chapter 7, however, and there it is. Okay, let's take a look at how to execute these scripts. These .SQL files, they are scripts of SQL commands. So what you're going to do is you're going to open the file, and it opens, the text opens into the pane in the right. So these are a series of SQL commands. For example, the first command says to use the master database. Now it's already in master. Do you see this right here? So you can quickly change what database you are working with this drop down, but this script verifies it and makes sure that you are using the master, followed by the command go, and you'll see the command go several times. So the next command is an if statement, which you should know what an if statement is. So if I try to create the AP database here and it already exists, I'm going to generate an error. So this if statement checks, is there a DB ID that's AP? If there is. In other words, is not null. It exists. It's going to drop it, and then when it creates it, it will create the new database. So if you need to start all over after adding records, etc., you can run this script again and it starts fresh. And a bunch of create table commands, okay, followed by a bunch of inserts, and this is the SQL to add records to each of those tables, so you have data to work with. Okay, and I think that's about it. So I'm going to execute, and after it's executed, you'll either get a red error message here in the messages pane, or here it's showing me that these records were added to the tables. Now I don't see AP, and this is common when you create a new database. You don't always see it in the Object Explorer until you refresh. So I'm right mouse clicking and clicking on refresh, and there's my AP database. So as you expand this tree, you will see I can see the list of tables by expanding the tables folder. And if I select a certain table, I can look at the list of columns or fields for each of them, and primary keys will be listed here. Oh, contact updates does not have a primary key, evidently. Okay, now you will notice that each of these table names has a DBO dot in front of it, and this DBO dot is like a namespace. It's just an organization technique. I mean, you know how do you create folders to organize your files? Well, schemas can organize your databases. So if you have an HR module, and you could put you could create an HR schema and put all the tables and all the views, here's views, and all the triggers, etc., related to HR under the HR schema by just typing HR dot and then your table name. Okay, so that is a little bit about getting started with SQL Server. Yeah, Merck has a lot of information, a lot of reading on this, so be sure to read through chapter 1 and 2 when you're getting started.